Hey guys, my name's Mad Friday and welcome to the channel. Right, today I'm going to be doing quite an in-depth tutorial on how to get started playing World of Tanks on the Xbox. This is applicable to Xbox 360 and Xbox One, and World of Tanks have called their website World of Tanks Console, so I'm assuming this is all going to be applicable to PS4 as well. Right, so just a little bit about myself. I've been playing World of Tanks since it came out in the beta on Xbox 360, and I've been playing for about 2 years now. And it's time for me to pass on some of the things I've learnt. I learnt through experience, but also by watching other YouTubers like Quickie Baby and the Mighty Jingles, and from watching some Twitch streams. My favourite being Sir Silcon, and I've learnt a few bits from the PC version and brought it over to the Xbox version. Right, so here we go, World of Tanks on the Xbox. It's a free-to-play game. All you have to do is go to the store, download World of Tanks, and it will appear on your home screen. So what do you do now? Well, on the Xbox One, it'll be like this, either down here or here, and you just click on it. It's a similar setup on the 360. It's not too hard to work out, and you should be able to get to this point by yourself. Right, so let's go for it. Let's click on here. So, get to this screen. In the bottom left hand corner is my name, meaning my profile is signed in. But if your profile is not signed in, it will come up with another option to choose whichever account you want to use on your Xbox. Once you've done that, it will come back to this screen, and you just press the menu button and it will load up. Right, so once you've done that, you come to this screen. There's several options here and we'll talk through them. Obviously this one is self-explanatory, play World of Tanks, and that will send you straight into the game. This game here, it's a little mini game. It's quite handy because you can play the mini game during an update. Every now and again World of Tanks will release an update with new tanks, map fixes, bug fixes and stuff like that. They do take you a while to download, and you can play this handy little mini game. It's actually quite fun. It's not a patch on the real game, but it's fun enough to keep you amused while the update downloads. This one here is very important though. Select server. Depending on how good your broadband is, will depend on what servers you can play on. If you just select auto, the game will automatically pick the server with the best ping and put you on that server. My best ping is Europe, however I like to play on NA East because there's more English speaking players and I prefer the gameplay on that server. However, if you are new to the game and you're watching this to learn how to play the game, this is probably not one of your highest priorities at the minute, and just leave it set to auto. I'm going to leave mine set to NA East. Right, on the right is the news feed. Wargaming will give you prior notice of any updates, so if you're, say you've got a day off work or something like that and you're planning on playing World of Tanks, keep an eye on this, because if it's an update day, there's going to be a good few hours where World of Tanks is offline while they do the update. So that's probably the most important thing to keep an eye out here. They also tell you about their bundles, their special offers in the shop, premium tanks, which we'll get onto later, and premium time bundles, and I'll explain premium time. Like I said, it's a free-to-play game, but like any of these free-to-play games, you can progress quicker if you pay some real money into the game, but we'll talk about that in the garage. Right, so we spoke about all of that. Let's click on play and we'll see what happens now. Right, while this screen's loading, during update days, like I said, it can take a few hours, and they will publicise that the servers are online, but you will still not be able to connect, and there's a way to know if the servers are up without going on their website and seeing. Once this is scrolled through, you should get a screen with a M4 Sherman on the screen and tracks rolling around. Well, after it said logging in, it will say synchronizing equipment and consumables. Once you've got to that point, you know the game's going to work. If it doesn't get to that point, then the servers are more than likely offline, or you actually have a problem with your own broadband. Right, so this screen has been changed lately with one of the recent updates, so this is going to be relevant from now. There's 4 options. First one being multiplayer. If you're playing on your own, this is the one you want to choose. You will play as a team of 15 against 15 other tanks, other enemy players. That's probably the most popular choice there. If you have a lot of friends on your friends list who play World of Tanks and you know you're going to set up a platoon straight away, you can invite up to 4 of your friends to form a platoon of up to 5 players and fight with your friends. So you want that option. But we'll do that in depth later on. Team training, you can set up a training room to practice with your friends. You don't earn any silver or XP, which we'll talk about later on. But you are charged for ammunition, so this game mode costs you money from your in-game economy, and you will need some to do that, obviously. Proving Grounds is basically player versus the computer practicing, basically, and that's what it is. We'll go into that again later. What I'm going to do now is click multiplayer, and we're going to load into my garage. Right, so here we are in my garage. On the screen is a Tiger 1, the Tier 7 German heavy tank. What do I mean by Tier 7? Well, in World of Tanks, the tiers go from Tier 1 to Tier 10. Tier 1 tanks being the lowest tier and the cheapest, and the Tier 10 being the highest tier and the most expensive. And the aim of the game basically is to research your whole way through all of the tech trees to get to all of the Tier 10 tanks. So what do I mean by tech tree? Well, if I click the LB button to go to the tanks tab at the top, this comes up. There are several nations on the tech trees. We have Germany, Britain, France, China, Japan, US of A, and Russia. As you may have noticed there, each nation has one Tier 1 tank, and that is what will be located in your garage when you first load up the game. Whilst I was scrolling through the nations, you may have noticed that all of the Tier 1 tanks have a diamond symbol in the top left hand corner. That indicates that that tank is in the light tank class. We will talk about each class in more depth later, but let me just take you through all of the classes of tank in the game and what the symbol is. Right, so the Lowell Tractor, that is a light tank, and so is the first tank it leads onto. However, above, the Panzerjäger 1, that is a tank destroyer. That is indicated by an upside down triangle. Above that we have the Geschützpanzer Mark 6, that is an artillery piece. That's not all though. Let's pick this one here. The Panzer S-35 is indicated by a diamond with a line through it 45 degrees, and that indicates that that tank is a medium tank. I'm not quite done there yet either. There is one more class of tanks which is heavy tanks, but you won't see those at the very lower tiers. They don't normally appear until Tier 4 or above. Here we found one here, the DW2. That is indicated by a diamond with 2 lines of 45 degrees. And that is all of the different types of tank. Right, so how do you progress up the tech tree from Tier 1? Well, the rules have been changed a little bit lately. When I started playing, even at Tier 1 you had to research and purchase all of the upgrades for your tank before you could research the Tier 2 tanks. However, like I said, the rules have been changed lately. Now all Tier 1 tanks come fully upgraded and fully equipped, so all you have to do is earn enough experience to research the Tier 2 tank. You can tell if a tank's been researched or not, because if they have been researched it will show the cost in silver to buy that tank, and if it hasn't been researched, the amount of experience you need to unlock that tank will still be in a green box there. So to go from the Panzer 3A to the Panzer 4A, I would need to earn 1,250 experience in the Panzer 3A to move to the Panzer 4A. Alternatively, I could use free experience to unlock that, but we will talk about free experience more later on. Right, so once you've gone to the next tank on, what do you do there? Well, the new artillery line's been released lately, so I will show you what it looks like inside. Once you've got your new tank in the garage, it will be completely unupgraded and will be the basic tank. All of the upgrades for the different tanks are completely different in most cases, and will have a different research cost before you can move on to the next package. This is what I mean by a package. Each one of these is a package. World of Tanks Xbox differs from the PC version slightly. PC players can choose individual pieces of equipment on the tank to upgrade at one time. However, on Xbox, these are all bundled together in small packages, so we research a package at a time. Right, so if I had the stock Vespa and I wanted to move up to the first upgrade, I would need to earn 345 experience to unlock this package. Right, so what happens when you do that? Well, I'm going to use some of my free experience to show you, so I'm going to click A, confirm research. Do you want to spend 345 experience to unlock this package? So I'm going to click yes. Right, so it says that has been researched. That is now not fitted to your tank still. You have to pay for the package for it to be fitted to your tank. Right, so if I wanted to fit that now, it would cost me 6,080 silver to fit that to my tank. You want to be doing this because the further you go to the right, the better your tank becomes, and that is indicated on the green bars on the right, but we will talk about those again in a minute. So there you go, you buy a tank, you have to research the packages within the tank to make it better, and once your tank is really good, you can start earning more experience to research the tank next along in the tech tree. Right, from the tanks list I'm going to press RB to go back to the garage tab. So this is my garage. Let's talk about a few of the things, and hopefully I should be able to explain it to you. Right, so above the A button that's telling me to roll out, it says multiplayer. That is the lobby I chose when I first logged into the game. Next to that is my name, lets you know what account you're using. Then we have 3 figures which are pretty damn important. First off, we have some gold coins. This is the in-game currency that you have to buy with real money, and we'll talk about that in the store. The silver coins, this is your in-game currency. This is the money used to purchase tanks, purchase upgrades, purchase a piece of equipment and consumables, all of which we'll go into in detail later. The next one is also very important. The gold star is how much free experience you have. Free experience is earned in battle. 5% of all the experience you earned is given to you in free experience, which you can use to research or any tank or any package in the whole tech tree. It's not tank specific and can be a very useful tool to help you get through your tanks quicker. Right, so next bit down, it tells you what tank is on the screen. That's my Tiger, it's a tier 7 heavy tank. Then it's telling you how much experience I have in that tank. It's fully upgraded and it's a tank I've kept, so I have quite a lot of experience left on that tank. Once you've fully researched the tank and you've researched the next one and you keep that tank, you will still earn experience, and that experience is not useless, but I will talk about that later. Right, so now we have some green bars. These basically indicate how good your tank is in kind of a visual way. First bar with the cross, that is how much health your tank has. The sword is basically how good the gun is. The shield is how good the armor is. The 2 arrows pointing to the right is how good the tank's mobility is. The pair of binoculars is the view range, and the pair of headphones is the tank's radio range. Below that we have a name. That is my tank's commander. That is his name. Next down is the tank sign, heavy tank sign, and a full green bar. This is the crew experience level. My bar is full, meaning my crew is at 100%. This can change, and we will talk about that later on before I try and confuse you too much right here. Below that bar you can see a little hand. That is the type of skill I am training at the minute and how far along that skill is. And below that is some boxes. Obviously this is a tank I kept. The good crew went to the next tank, so I put a new crew in here, and I have managed to finish 3 skills and I'm almost finished my fourth. But we'll talk about skills in depth in a minute. Right, onto the bottom of the screen here, I can see I've changed tank. You do that by pressing either left and right on the D-pad or left and right on the left stick of your controller. So all of these tanks, they're laid out in tank type and nationality. As you can see here, I have currently 3 German medium tanks in my garage. Next along is heavy tanks, and I have 1, 2, 3 German heavy tanks in my garage. As you see, when you change tank, the boxes above all change as well. So let's pick one tank, let's pick my E50M. The left hand 3 boxes show which types of ammunition you have. I will go into those in more detail separately, as well as the equipment and the type of consumables you have. We will go into this all in more depth in a minute. It's far too much information for you right at this point. So there we go, that's that. On the bottom of the screen there's several options. If I was to press A now, I would take the selected tank into battle. If I press Y, it brings up the tank's details, shows you the armour, goes into more depth with the green bars as to what each one mean and the exact figures, and also a greater layout of your upgrade state, which consumables you've got, your equipment and your ammunition. Also on your ammunition, it will show the minimum and maximum penetration and damage values of each round you have. Right, so that's enough of that. We're going to look at the next tab. Right, so now I'm going to flick right once more with my RB button to go to the Ops tab. Ops stands for Operations. These are basically smaller in-game missions that Wargaming give you, and you get different types of rewards. You can have 3 active at any time, but you can sometimes have 4. The top one, see, it's got a little prize mark. That one is already active and remains active at all times. So potentially some days you can have 4 active operations. Right, so let's have a look through. So the first one here, Daily Victory. If I win 10 battles in tiers 3 to 10 tanks, I can get 2 times silver on my 10th battle. Right, so we got a silver star, that is experience. If I destroy 1 or more light tanks in a tier 3 to 10 tank, I will earn 250 experience on the tank I was using in that game. So there we go. These are very useful. If you keep an eye on these and make good use of them, they're a good way of getting through your tanks a lot quicker. See this one here, detect 3 or more vehicles. If I'm trying to get through a tank quickly, I see with this reward I can earn 1.25 times the amount of experience I would have earned during that game. So if there's a tank I really want to get through quickly, I could activate this operation by pressing A and then play that tank, and during the results of my game, say I earned 1000 experience, I would earn 1250 experience for that game, so I'd have an extra 250 experience to research packages or research the next tank on the line. So from here I'm going to go right again to the Stats tab. That stands for Statistics. What do I mean by statistics? Well, if you get really into this game, you might want to keep track of how well you're doing. So if I go up to overall, I've played 9,271 battles. For you newer guys, you might think that's a massive number, but already there's World of Tanks Xbox players that are way over 20,000 games played. So the percentage there, the flag, I have been part of a winning team in 56% of all of the battles I've played. That's not a bad figure, considering I play mostly on my own. Right, so let's go down to these tanks. Right, so this shows you every tank you've played. So let's have a look at one of my tanks. Say the T14, my tier 5 premium American heavy tank. You can see I've played a fair few games in that one. I've played 423 games and I've maintained a 60% win rate. And on the end is a big gold M with a gold laurel wreath round. So what does that mean? And you can see here, the Locust, I've got a 2 with a laurel wreath round. Well, each time you take out a tank to play in a game, When you get to the results screen, if you've been better than 50% of all others' results in that tank, you will get a class 3 mastery or higher, depending on how well you did. And this will be registered in your stats. So you can see with the locust there, I've got a class 2 mastery, meaning, well, we'll go into it and it will explain it. I've only managed class 2 mastery in that tank, so I have been better than 80% of all other players in that tank. You can see the other classes there. Class 3 is 50%, Class 1 is 95%, and Mastery Ace Tanker is attained at 99%. So in most of my tanks I'm doing pretty well there, but I need to go back to the Locust and play a little bit more. So you see I've only played 5 matches in it, so maybe one day I'll go back and try and get the Mastery in that tank. Also on these tanks it gives you a brief run up of your stats that you've got in the tank as well. So my Fury there, I've played 235 battles, 137 of those have been victories, which is 58%. I've destroyed 325 enemies, but I've only survived 91 battles, which is 39% of the battles. The hit ratio has been 66%. Different tanks have different rates of fire, so you tend to find the tanks with a higher rate of fire, you take more risky shots and you risk more chance of missing those shots. And I've earned 21 medals. Not a bad little tank, the Fury. So before I go on to the next tab to the right, you can see it says store, and there's another laurel wreath, and it says 0 days. That is indicating how many days of premium account I have left. So what is a premium account? Well, at the start of this tutorial I did say that this was a free to play game, and it is a free to play game if you wish to not spend any money. However, if you buy a premium account you can earn 50% more silver and experience for every battle, meaning you progress through the game a little faster than you would do without a premium account. So the first tab down the bottom here, buy premium. So you can buy in ranges from 1 day all the way up to a year's worth of premium. And as you see at the bottom it tells you the cost in gold for each day of premium or each package of premium, starting from 250 gold for 1 day all the way up to 24,000 gold for a year's worth of premium. So once you're here, how do you get gold? Well, to get gold you have to buy it. If we go on to the get gold option, this is where real money comes into play. You can buy from 850 gold pack to a 6,500 gold pack, all the way up to 25,000 gold pack, which is going to cost you nearly £70. I don't know what that is in dollars, but it's going to be quite a big number. I normally buy mine in 6,500 gold packs. Obviously the further you go up the more gold you get per pound, so I tend to buy it in 6,500 at a time. However, it depends on your own financial situation as to what size gold pack you buy, or to whether you buy any in the first place. Right, the next tab along, exchange gold. You can use gold you have bought with real money to exchange for the in-game currency, which is silver. Why would you want to do this? Well, when you first start playing the game, especially if you haven't got a premium account, you don't earn a huge amount of silver per battle, and you can find yourself waiting to research a tank, or having researched a tank but you can't afford to buy it. So if you do have gold and you wish to spend it this way, then you convert gold into silver to buy tanks. Right, next one, convert XP. This is a similar thing to exchange gold, but this time you can use your gold that you've bought with real money to convert free experience on the tanks. Sorry, not free experience on the tanks, but experience you've earned on the tanks into free experience, which you can then use to research any package or any tank in the tech tree. Why would you want to do this? Well, again, if you want to get through the tech trees a little quicker, you can use real world money to exchange tank experience to free experience to research tanks to get through the game quicker. Right, so the last tab, 14-day specials. Every 14 days Wargaming will put certain tanks on sale, but these are normally premium tanks which I haven't spoke about before. Right tankers, now we've seen all of the basics of the World of Tanks console, I'm going to show you a little bit of what you need to do when you buy your tanks and when you first play your brand new tier 1 tanks that are in your garage. You don't just jump straight into battle. If you do that, you're going to find yourself caught out, and I will tell you why. Right, so just to prove a point, I'm going to buy this M2 medium, and I get a message: your tank needs a crew before it can be driven into battle, and you need to select one now. So I click A. You've got some options here. You can either recruit a crew, or here is all my other tanks with their crews in. You could either move a crew from a tank you've already got, or if you've sold a tank previous, the tank that you sold, the crew will still be in your barracks and you can assign a previous crew. I'm not going to do that now though. What I'm going to do is recruit a crew. If you recruited a brand new crew, there are 3 training levels that you can do, either 50%, 75% or 100%. 50% is 3, 75% is going to cost you some silver, and 100% training is going to cost you some gold. And this is another one of those things where having a premium account and some gold in your account is going to benefit you and benefit your gameplay. But so I'm just going to select a free crew at the minute, so you just do that. Train a crew using a rapid course, yep. Then you get a nice little video of your brand new tank going into your garage. There we go, it's my new M2 medium tank. A long time ago since I played this. There we go, there it goes into my garage. Right, so I'm going to return to garage, and there it is there, it's all sat there. Right, if you look in the 9 boxes above, ammunition state, I have 120 of one sort of round, but none of the others. I have no equipment fitted, and no consumables. So what I'm going to do now is click X to go on upgrade, and we're going to sort out our supplies. So here we go, this is where you sort out your ammunition loadout on your tank. The top box is normally your standard ammunition, and this is normally armor piercing ammunition, but not always, not in all cases. The box down will be your premium ammunition. These tend to be just generally better than your standard ammunition, but they will cost you either gold or more silver per round than the standard ammunition. And the way to change the currency is to use the Y button. As you can see now, each armor piercing composite rigid round would cost me 2 gold, but if I press Y, you can see it's going to cost me 800 silver now per round, and that is the difference between a standard round and a premium round. The standard rounds cost 18 silver for every round, but to have more chance of penetrating an enemy tank, you can use a premium round. In this case is armor piercing composite rigid, but there is other types, and it's going to cost me 800 silver. That is a huge difference in price, and we will talk about that more later on. The third type of ammunition is normally high explosive. These tend to have a lot lower penetration value but do more damage per shell, but then they tend to be cheaper as well. So the way I'm going to set this tank out, I'm going to have 10 rounds of premium ammunition and 10 rounds of high explosive for lower tiers. The way you set up each tank will change depending on your own personal preference, the money you can afford to spend, and your own personal ability to be able to make shots with standard ammunition without using premium ammunition, but we will come into that in the future. Right, you want the auto resupply box ticked, because if not, after one battle you might go into another and you won't have enough ammunition to cover that match. Onto consumables, you have 3 slots, and it is very important the way you set up these 3 slots. If you have your controller set up in the standard way, the first box will be assigned to your X button in game, the second box will be assigned to your Y button in game, and the third box will be assigned to the B button in game. It is very important, but when you get more into the game, you have your consumables in the same boxes, otherwise you might end up using the wrong button at the wrong time, and it might cost you your tank in game. Right, so I'm going to click on here and we're going to have a look at the consumables. At the top is the premium consumables, and at the bottom is the standard consumables. Premium consumables again, I have quite a lot of in reserve, so I can't show you the cost in gold. I can't remember what they cost in gold. I think it's 50 gold for a premium consumable, or again you can change currency to silver and they will cost you 20,000 silver per premium consumable. However, at the bottom the standard consumables cost 3,000 silver per consumable. The very basic setup you want on your tank, the way I do it, I assign my X button to a small repair kit, I assign my Y button to a small first aid kit, and I assign my B button to a manual fire extinguisher. And that is how I set up my consumables. This is the minimum setup you require for in-game. If you then choose to use a premium consumable later on when you've learned to play the game better, then that's your own personal choice, but this is the very minimum you want when you first start playing the game. And again, have auto resupply ticked, otherwise you might forget to resupply the tank between battles. To save this setup, I'm going to press B to save and exit, accept that, and now when I look in the garage, my ammunition loadout and consumables are set up. Right, so the equipment boxes are still empty, so I'm going to click on equipment and you have 3 boxes again. There are many types of equipment. I will do this in a separate video later on. These cost quite a lot of money, and for a brand new player you're probably not going to have the money to fit these when you first start playing. However, I'll just give you a quick run up. Camouflage net, that makes you harder to spot. Binocular telescopes give you a lot more view range when you're stationary. Coated optics give you a little bit of extra view range at all times. Toolbox increases your repair speed. Tank rammers make you fire faster basically. Gun lane drive makes you aim faster. Spall liner helps protect you from high explosive shells normally. Ventilation improves all of your major crew skills, and that is quite an important one in my opinion. Wet ammo rack, that can stop your ammo rack getting exploded, and the suspension upgrades just give you some extra protection for your suspension. There are a few missing from this tank because you cannot fit all sorts of equipment to every tank. The one I'm thinking about at the minute is, what was it called? Vertical Stabilizer Mark II. That gives you plus 20% to your accuracy. However, it's normally on tier 6 and above tanks, but you can fit that piece of equipment. And I'm pretty sure there's another one I'm missing, but I can't remember what it is offhand. Anyway, so I'm not going to fit any now because I do not want to spend that sort of money on a low tier tank, but it's completely up to you, and I will go into all of the equipments in a video on its own later on. I could customize this tank. You can fit camouflage. This is just not for good looks. These will increase your camo value and make you harder to spot, but they do cost you money. Obviously for up to a month they can cost you silver, and to have it permanent will cost you gold, and you cannot change the currency on a permanent fit. So you can have there's 4 different camouflage slots because there's 4 different classes of map that you can go on. Inscriptions, these are your own personal preference. They cost you money, again the same as camouflage, but they do not affect the way the tank plays. And emblems, again, this is just your own personal preference, and it does not affect the way the tank plays at all. Right, so once you've done that, your tank is pretty much set up to go into battle. So we're going to do that right now. Right, so I lied a little bit there. We're not going to jump straight in a public battle. What all new players should do first is go into the proving grounds and do the tutorial videos, and we're going to do one together. Right, so I press my select button. I change from multiplayer to proving grounds, Now all my tanks are here again. However, at the start we have the tutorials button. Now I'm going to click on there. There are 5 tutorials, starting from basic training all the way down to live fire practice, and there are different rewards for each one. Plenty of silver, free experience, and the first one, and most importantly, you get some gold, and that is most important to a new player, that you use that gold wisely. Right, so we're going to do this one together. I'm going to click on there. We're going to load into basic training and learn how to drive our tank, and we're going to do it together. We're going to talk through it, and we will get some instructions from our commander in the tank.
Welcome to the field, Commander. We're gonna put you and your crew through some training exercises. That Sherman tank you're driving is just a loner, so don't get too comfy.
Right, so the timer's ticking down. We're going to start in a minute. We're going to give him some instructions, and the man's going to teach us how to drive this Sherman.
Aim your camera at the vehicle to your right by moving the analog stick. The tank's turret follows the camera as you move it. Good. Now aim at the ambulance to your tank's left. Alright, move up to the marked location.
Right, so we've done that using our right stick, looking left and right. You can also look up and down as well. So now we need to move forward using our left stick, and you can also wiggle around left and right using your stick whilst you're driving.
Now move up to the next location. Remember, you're in a tank. You don't drive around obstacles, you drive through them.
Right, so also, if you use your left and right on your stick, you can spin on the spot. But if we do it, push forward and turn left and right as well, we do slightly different radius turns. Some obstacles are destructible, things like rocks and that are.
Looks like you and your crew can handle the basics. Let's see if you can handle some more advanced actions. Get your tank to the firing position marked on your mini-map in the bottom right of the screen. You will have to cross a swamp to get there. Difficult terrain like this will reduce your tank speed and maneuverability.
Right, so what he's talking about there is ground resistance. Harder ground, you can go faster and turn quicker on, and things like swamps and wet grass, you turn slower and you go slower.
Enemy exposed. Take that enemy out, Commander. For maximum accuracy, wait for your aiming circle to shrink.
Right, so what he's on about the aiming circle is that white circle with the smaller white circle inside. That is your aiming circle. When you drive and turn your turret, the size of it will increase and you become less accurate. But if you aim at a target and leave it there, the target will reduce to its smallest size. That is your best accuracy. As you might have seen there, I zoomed into sniper mode. That you do that with your left trigger. To zoom in, you click the right trigger. Sorry, not right trigger, the right stick, and you zoom in. What I'm going to do now is just kill this guy quickly, and you do that with your right trigger. See there, one shot in. The aiming circle does bloom in between shots, so your best chance of being accurate is to let it come down in between shots.
Target destroyed. That's one for the scrap heap. Head to the next firing position. It's marked on your mini-map in the bottom right of the screen.
If you zoomed in with your left clicking right stick, next time you aim in, you will be in sniper mode. To come out again, you click right stick again. Right, so spotted a target.
Fire when the aiming circle has snapped onto the target.
You can snap onto a target using RB. If you click RB near a target, the turret will snap to that target and stay on that target. However, it will aim at centre mass of the target, and as you can see, the aiming circle has turned from a nice red colour to a yellowy colour. That means there is a reduced chance of penetration with that shot. So if I move into sniper mode, move to a different part of the tank, mind you it is a Tiger 2, I'm going to have not much chance of penetrating. The Tiger 2 is a tier 8 tank and I'm in a tier 6 tank. As you can see there, when I move on to the gun, the penetration indicator turns red. However, the penetration indicator does not take into account armor angling. So you need to be aware that even if this is red, you may still not be able to penetrate the target. So I'm going to try his lower plate.
Get to a better
Absolutely no
position.
chance against the
Frontal
Tiger
armor
2
is harder to penetrate,
from the
so
front.
always try to flank your enemies.
Right, so I'm going to re-snap to the target.
Fire on target.
Going to move to the next firing spot. As you can see, the penetration indicator's changed.
Good. Now take out that tank. Aim at the sides and rear to have the best chance of doing damage.
See, now I'm aiming at a nice flat piece of side armor. And we get a penetration.
Enable auto aim and keep moving. Sitting still in battle only makes you an easy target. Enabling auto aim makes for easier targeting on the move, but auto aim only works when you aren't in sniper mode.
See, there we go. If you auto aim on a target, as soon as you go into sniper mode, it will
Let auto
unlock
aim do its
the
job
target.
as you maneuver.
So, I'm going to snap it back on. We can keep moving.
Good work, Commander.
Kill the target.
You reduced that heavily armored tank to a smoldering wreck. You've got one more enemy out there. Move to the marked position to detect him. You can only spot enemies in your view range.
Right, so there we go, spot an enemy. I lock on anyway, even if you don't want to fire, it's probably a good idea to lock on.
Hide your tank behind those bushes, Commander. If you stay in the brush and keep still, it will be harder for enemies to detect you.
Right, so now the guy's talking about camouflage value. If you're out in the open in no cover, you're a lot easier to spot than if you hide behind some bushes.
Switch to sniper mode and take aim at the enemy. Long-range targets are easier to aim at in sniper mode. Now destroy
Right, so I'm in
that final
sniper
tank. Since he is far away, you'll have to lead him by aiming at the front of the tank, or just ahead of it.
Right, so the guy's talking about leading targets. If a tank is going fast, you will need to aim further in front than if he isn't going fast, and the further you need to aim depends on the tank speed and also the round velocity of the gun you're firing. So I'm going to aim about there and we hit him in the middle. I want to track this guy really, so I'm going to try and aim off for his tracks. That one bounced. If you are facing an enemy who's moving quite fast and isn't giving you a good shot, you want to try and track the target, and that will keep him in front of you and make him easier to kill. Right, so he's turning. The penetration indicator will change. General rule of thumb is to aim at the flattest piece you can, but we'll talk about gunnery in a different video later on. So hopefully my last shot here will kill him. There we
Great
go.
work, Commander. You concealed yourself and destroyed that long-range target.
Mission accomplished.
And that's the very basics. Right, here we are in the live firing practice tutorial. As you can see, this tank is a little different to the last one. This does not have a turret, so you cannot turn the turret round. As you can see, if I aim to the left and right, the gun does not follow. That is my maximum traverse, as indicated on the bottom left. The orange lines, once you've hit maximum traverse, that is the most you can aim. So you will actually have to physically move your tank to aim this sort of tank. Right, I'm going to move into the mark and quickly pick up a target. Right, there we go. It's a tier 1 tank. We've detected him. He's firing back at us. So I'm going to set up here. I'm going to lock on first. If you lock on first, you're always guaranteed to be aiming in roughly the right place when you go into sniper mode. So now I have an AP round loaded, I'm aiming at his flat side armour, fire, and I kill him in one shot because it's only a tier 1 tank. Here we go. do that again. What I'm going to do is show you how I do it. I always lock on first. That means when you pull your left trigger, you will be in roughly the right place to fire, kill him. Right, so here we go. Picked up another tier 1 tank. I'm going to lock on with my right button, aim in, adjust my fire. He's turning, so I need to readjust. Fire. I don't quite kill him in one shot. There we go. Finish him off with the second shot. Here we go. Picked up a target. It's now a tier 2 target. I lock on, aim in, adjust my fire. Hit him. I've hit his tracks this time, so he now can't move unless he uses a repair kit. Aim in, fire, and we kill the target. Right, as you see at the bottom of the screen, there is now 2 different types of ammunition loaded up. On the left is my standard armor piercing ammunition, and on the right is my high explosives ammunition. So now I'm going to reload a HE shell. Against soft skin targets, high explosive shells will do more damage. However, they have less penetration. With the lower penetration, it makes it harder, obviously, to penetrate a target. So you need to learn the ins and outs of all of the tanks you're shooting at. Right, here we go. We spot a D1. That's a tier 2 target. I lock on.
Ready to fire on target.
I have a high explosive shell loaded. And he's gone out of sight. He's gone out of my view range and he's gone behind cover, so I need to advance. There he is. We reacquired a target. I lock on with RB. Penetration indicator was yellow there, meaning there's not much chance of penetrating. Fire. I hit him. Do a critical damage to his engine. However, I don't do full damage with my high explosive shell because his armor's too thick. I'm going to fire again with a high explosive shell, and we only do 15 damage. If you do not penetrate with a high explosive shell, the amount of damage you do is negated by the armor of the enemy tank. In this situation, armor piercing would have been the better choice. Right, so here we see a universal carrier 2-pounder. This is a lightly skinned target. If my aim is good enough here, I should be able to do a lot more damage with a high explosive shell. And I can see, there we go. I penetrated that target, did full damage, and I killed him in one shot. High explosive ammunition is very good against light skinned targets, but you need to know the armor profile of the tank you're fighting. In most situations, standard ammunition is the best choice, or premium ammunition is the best choice. High explosive is normally only the best choice for light skinned vehicles, for finish off a target with very low health, or for resetting a cap in a game, which we've not spoken about yet. Remember, the penetration indicator on your aiming circle colours only indicate the chance of penetrating a target with the flat armour. It does not take into account armour angling. Right, so to highlight that again, I'm going to load a high explosive shell and aim for his gun. We only do 68 damage. Load an AP shell. We do 116 to take out his engine. Now I could even, no, because I know I can penetrate with an AP, I could either keep firing an AP shell and kill him, or if it was a hard target with thick armour, I could now load a high explosive shell, and the splash of this high explosive shell would be enough to there we go. Right tankers, now you've learnt to drive your tank and fire its weapon, and a little bit of information on ammo choices, it's time to take out your brand new tanks into battle. Before we do that, if you look at this M2 medium I purchased earlier to show you how to load up your ammunition, the square on the bottom with the tank's name and the picture of the tank, as you can see on the bottom left it says ×2 and the silver star. That indicates that that tank still has its ×2 on your first battle. The first victory of the day in any tank, you get a minimum of ×2 experience, and during some events this can be up to ×5. Right, so here we go. I've selected the tank I want to play. I'm going to click A to go into a 15 versus 15 battle. As you can see, we're in the queue now. It tells you how many tanks of each tier and each type are in the queue waiting to play. Right, so here we go. We've left the queue and we are now loading into our battle. We're going to be playing on the map called Kamarin, and this is a standard battle, meaning each team has a flag at its base, and the idea is either to kill all 15 enemy tanks or capture their flag. If we're looking around, you can see all of our teammates when we're ready to play our battle. What you can do from here before you start is press select button, and it will bring up the team list, and you can see what sort of enemies you're up against and if there's any names you recognise from any other games or anything. Also, you can use your D-pad to move this square around, and you can ping the map to bring people's attention to certain parts of the map that you might think are important. Right, so I'm going to go out there and we're going to start playing. Obviously I bought this tank and it is completely stock at the minute, and I have not done any upgrades. Also, when you're looking at the team list, you should be looking at the type of tanks the enemy's team have got. As you can see, they have 2 artilleries, so you do not want to be staying in the same position all of the time.
We've hit them hard. It's up to us. There's no one left. Target locked.
Right, so there's some targets spotted in front of me, so I'm going to try and aim off a few shots and get some fire down the range. That target's gone blind, but I'm still going to fire just in case it hasn't moved.
Friendly vehicle knocked out. Target locked.
See, with this tank the aiming circle is very large, meaning it's not very accurate. However, we're still managing to do some damage with a standard tank and it goes down. Their artillery's been spotted.
Find another target.
Against artilleries, high explosive shells can be a good choice. However, because this tank is completely standard, it means it doesn't have a huge amount of penetration with its standard gun. So I'm going to continue using AP rounds. Plus there's only one enemy left, he's on the island. And he's dead. So there we go. First outing in that tank didn't go particularly well, we didn't do much damage. However, we survived to full health and we supported our team. So here's the results screen. Not very good, but there's a daily double. It doubles your experience for the day. Only did 241 damage with 6 penetrations. But with a standard tank, and the first time I played it for a long time, not too bad at all. As you can see at the top of the list, the guy in the Panzer 1C had an epic game, did a lot of damage and had a lot of experience and got 6 kills. If you click the A button, you can see his exact results, every shot he fired and all of the damage he done. You can also do that on your own results. So I fired 12, hit 6 and penetrated 6. And that's about all you need to know, really. To go from here, you're going to start getting more in depth in every subject, and I will probably do most of it in some more videos, but hopefully you've learnt enough by now to at least get on a little better. Right, so I played my first battle in my M2 medium. As you can see down on the bottom of the screen on the M2 medium box, I'll now have 692 experience earned on that tank. So now it's time to use that experience. If I click X, go on packages, now I can unlock some packages. See, the first upgrade is only 350 research points. So I'm going to do that, and there we go. If I'd earned some more experience in game, I could unlock these. They are green because I have some free experience to spend, and you can use the free experience you earn in the tutorials to spend on things like this as well. So free experience is a very good, powerful tool for upgrading your tanks quicker than you would have been able to if you were just playing the tank. Right, so there we go. I've researched the first package. As you see at the bottom, it has a better gun and a better radio. So now I purchase that package. What you want to do now though is not just go and play straight away after fitting this package. What you need to do now, because you've changed the gun, your ammunition state has now changed back to normal. You've changed the gun, you've changed the caliber, and you've changed the type of ammunition it uses. And you now need to reload the amount of ammunition you want in your tank. So as you can see, I need to change the currency again on my premium rounds. Change that back to 800. I'm going to load up those 10 again and those 10 again, and save that, and you're ready to go again. So it's quite a good little tool what you have on screen. It lets you know your ammunition state before you go into battle, so you need to check that really. Right, so there we go. You know the basics now. You know the rough ins and outs of the World of Tanks console. You know the ins and outs of how to use a tank. A little bit on ammunition choice and how to purchase and upgrade your tanks. Right guys, I hope this helps you start to play the game a little better than you would if you were just doing it on your own. There will be some more videos in the future going into each subject a little bit more in depth. Probably come up with premium tanks next time and a video on gunnery school. Right, there we go guys. Hope this helps you to play tanks a little better. Please give the video a like if you did. Please sub if you're not. And I'll catch you next time. Cheers guys. See you later.